Welcome to the sofa. I'm Sherry.
I'm Bonnie, and this is the Sisters Hallmark Sip and Chat podcast.
We're a couple of crownheads who love all things Hallmark.
Welcome back to the sofa. It's episode 8 of season 4 of our podcast, and week 8 of Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas on the W Channel. In this episode, we'll be sipping a winterberry mocktail and chatting about the 4 movies, The Snow Must Go On, and Alpine Holiday, She's Making a List, and Single on the 25th.
Movie number 1, The Snow Must Go On, starring Heather Hemmons as Lillian and Corey Cott as Isaiah. As Isaiah's Broadway dreams stall, he decides to visit his sister Jess and niece Aurora in upstate New York. There, his niece and her charming guidance counselor, Lillian, convinces him to direct the school's annual Christmas musical. He finds he is torn between helping the kids in the show and helping himself get an audition in front of a big-time Broadway producer who also happens to be the mother of one of the musical main players. Let's find out how this movie rated on our SOFA rating system. But first, a quick explanation. Our custom SOFA rating system includes a list of 20 Hallmark tropes broken down into 10 categories that will determine how Hallmark is this movie. You can download the list from our website and social pages. This movie earned 12 out of 20 SOFAs, and the categories are town holiday celebrations, location, 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 family and friends, affairs of the heart, big life changes, Christmas magic.
Wow, what a voice he has. Exceptional. Like they picked the right person for this part. And I really enjoyed his sense of humor too. Like he was a little cheeky and that was kind of fun too. And I think, like really his part, that stage acting, that seems like a tough gig. Like I don't think I could do that. Like especially when you're part of some show, that um I'm sure when
Oh,
you're part
take
of a
a new
show
take,
that
stop, take, retake. That one's just live.
yeah, that's it. Like I'm sure it's satisfying when you get onto a show that is does really well and you connect with people, but like you never know when that's going to be and they could be short-lived and it's a lot of work for a short period of time. It's a hard gig. Like watching that, I'm like, I don't know if I could go through all of that, the heartbreak.
The gentleman playing Isaiah, was he the doctor from the movie with the different timetables, and he was the doctor that was going in the army? Remember that? And he
I
from the
don't
60s
remember.
or whatever.
I don't remember
Gareth
that one.
said, "Oh, I think that's him," but I thought that was interesting. Okay, the singing, I agree, was amazing to listen to, and those kids were all so talented. And I found that out that Corey was a real theater star, and his performance showed that. Like he really does do that. That was where his claim to fame was. So that was kind of cool to find out.
You could really tell like that he's not
Mm.
just I doing this for the movies, that is his background, which I'm sure there's probably other Hallmark actors that probably are as well come from the stage, but his musical prowess was excellent.
Mhm.
I think I get that he needs to hustle like in this, to get parts and everything. That was one of the things I was saying before. Like that's tough, but to kind of take this kid's play over, he's like, oh, like I'm not just doing it to help my niece, but also what can I get out of it? That kind of at first I was like, that's sketchy and that's selfish. I don't know what's going on with this movie, but I didn't like it. So I'm glad that they kind of like put a mirror to that. And obviously he changed his mind and he became, a little bit more understanding and thoughtful of all the kids. I love that his niece really had his back, even
Yeah.
though, she could have called it out more. He was supposed to be there for her, but she really had his back. Family, was for family. And like I said, he did get back in that mindset. This is for the kids. And one of the quotes they said, everyone deserves to be heard. And I think once that got into play, it was a lot more interesting for me to watch.
Yeah. Putting kids first and letting them shine is the greatest gift you can give a child. And it was very disappointing how it was going in the beginning, but that part was that the fact that he did give into that for the children was great.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like the stage show version of School of Rock, where he was just wanting to teach these kids because he wanted to have a rock band
Rock
and go
school.
into that contest. But then in the end, like he really highlighted the kids. The kids were the show, even though like they still went into the thing, and they both got something out of it, and I really enjoyed it, that part of it.
Going back to the kids, believing in your child can change their lives. And I do think it's important to always encourage their dreams and guide them. You may be very surprised what they can do.
I think 100%. I think these kids didn't know what their levels were. Like they were scared to show it. And the fact that he was so good at what he did, and then he realized he was like actually even better director and helping to draw out from the kids,
Yeah.
their personal talents and everything. He did such a good job. And that part was so nice to see. I love that the play was the Christmas elk instead of the Christmas elf. I think that was so, so cute. I think the play was really, really cute. I would have enjoyed that. And then the snow and the rising curtain at the end with he and her and everything, their little romantic moment there. That was really sweet.
Stark chemistry in the movie was sweet, but I would have to say it definitely wasn't the most important part of this movie.
100%. The romance was definitely second fiddle, I think, to the connection with him and the kids. Movie number two, An Alpine Holiday, starring Ashley Williams as Faith, Lacey J. Millay as Kelly, and Julian Samani as Frederick. Estranged sisters Faith and Kelly find themselves on a scavenger hunt in the French Alps, brought together by the last wish of their beloved grandmother. With the assistance of the handsome French mountaineer guide Frederick, the sisters find they have emotional mountains to climb, as well as very real ones her grandparents hiked up for their romantic engagement, a hike the sisters are determined to replicate. This movie earned an exceptional 19 out of 20 sofas, and the categories are Town Holiday Celebrations, Here Comes the Bride, Location, 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 Family and Friends, Unexpected Hiccups, Affairs of the Heart, Big Life Changes, and 5 bonus sofas for highlighting a charity, which was volunteering to wrap gifts.
Okay, so this scenes in this movie were amazing. And I love when we get to see other parts of the world. That part is great. I really love that.
A sister trip to France at Christmas sounds like a dream to me.
I'm on
Hello.
board.
And a little mystery on the side. Parfait. I would I would have been very I think it would have been sorry. I'm skipping over my words. I think it would have been very cool because they did this before with Ashley's real sister Kimberly in the movie. I
Yes.
think that would have been a little like the girl who played her sister was wonderful, but I'm just saying that how much more would it have been if it had been her actual sister?
But it was good how the sisters behaved because families can be challenging, but love always prevails. But patience is a virtue, especially when your families are involved. It's tough.
100%. Of course. Families, families. This was honestly, it was one of my most anticipated movies of the season. And of course, mostly because I love, love, love when they shoot in these cool locations like France and Spain and Italy. The Norwegian one from, I think, a couple seasons ago was one of my favorites of that particular season. That was a real kind of surprise. And I always look forward to them the most. But the storyline with the sisters and their quest from their beloved grandmother for me was icing on the cake.
I did like that this was both a trip and a mystery, like you mentioned before. Their aunt was amazing at doing this for them. And with every detail she thought of, even right down to like the tour guides and who it was. And
Yeah.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah, the cold plunge though was not happening. Like that's not my day spa my spa day for sure. Like no cold plunge, please. I'm all for the hot tub that they went into, but it would be quite an experience. It was really beautiful that they highlighted that. I think that was very cool because maybe not everybody would be able to go there and see that and do that. So I always like that they highlight those things. I'm sure you and I, Sherry, would be at that hot pool all day.
The hot one, yes.
Yes,
Cold
not the
plunge.
cold one.
No,
No.
no, no. I also really liked that the grandmother had those love letters at all the stops. That really warmed my heart. Like I couldn't even help it but have a tear at some of them because what she said was so meaningful and impactful, even though sometimes it was just a simple statement. But it
Yeah.
really impacted them. So I thought that was great.
I think it was that personal touch to make them look, at what they were doing with their lives, running away, not exploring enough. And I get it because the one sister, sharing your art is scary because it's just so personal. When it doesn't matter if it's a painting or writing, it can be intimidating. And it's, that other people are like judging you rather than your art, like you're putting yourself
Mhm.
out there, putting your art out there. They're not just looking at your art or whatever, they're judging you too. So that can make you really apprehensive to step out and do it. So I think it was great that her grandmother was kind of pushing her to get past that.
Past it. Yeah, because there was like the two love stories going on, right? Her, the
Hmm.
older sister with the marriage proposal on the line that she was terrified of, because he clearly knew that she'd be running away. And then the
Yeah,
other daughter who also was afraid to make a commitment, who ends up falling in love with the grandson of the grandparents' original tour guide. That was a nice twist to that.
I agree. I think they kind of put that into a nice little bow. And the view above the clouds where they hiked up to, that was just stunning. The
Gareth
whole
was so upset by that glass floor.
Oh my gosh, the how freaky. Like I couldn't do it. I don't know that I could take it wasn't a very big glass floor, okay? Like it
No.
wasn't huge or anything. And there were walls you could hold on to, but I think I would still I hope I would be brave enough to try it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I would chicken out. I just would like to think that I would try it. And the hike itself, like honestly, that was pretty intimidating, but it would be really cool to do if you were, it would be hard if you were never prepared for it, I think. I would feel like I would need to prepare for it. But what of you? When you get up there and they got up to that final point where their grandparents had taken the picture of their engagement and then finding the grandparents' lock, all of that was just
Oh.
super, super sweet.
Movie number three, She's Making a List, starring Lacey Chabert as Isabel and Andrew Walker as Jason. Isabel, an agent for the Naughty or Nice group, is tasked with determining which of Santa's list each child in the world should be on, naughty or nice. Everything is going according to plan until she has to reassess Charlie for the naughty list and accidentally bumps into her widowed father, Jason. Sparks fly and further complicate her investigation of Charlie, putting her career and Charlie's Christmas at risk. This movie earned 15 out of 20 sofas, and the categories are Town Holiday Celebration, Location, 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 Family and Friends, Big Life Changes, Christmas Magic, and bonus points for Charlie helping her elderly neighbor.
Breaking the fourth wall, like her Lacey actually speaking to the camera was a very different POV. I don't remember if I've ever seen it in any Hallmark movie. If I have, it's very rare. And if it's done well, like I feel like it was done in this story, it's a very cute way to do it. And it really puts us in her head and explained the rules that she has to follow and all the tech and everything they had. That was all really cool too. I really like how they explained how this company who works for Santa worked. Like how are they're outsourcing this naughty or nice list for Santa.
You saying that makes so much sense, but I didn't even think of it because I was thinking of like shows like Modern Family and all that, like as if they're taped as if reality shows, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that, but yeah, you're right. Now, for me, this was one of my picks this year, and it did not disappoint. I can always count on Lacey to have a great script and bring it to fruition. So that was awesome.
I agree with you. I'm always looking forward to Lacey's movies, and I think this one was just another good one that she is in. And looking at the story, especially the young girl Charlie, you could clearly, her naughtiness was clearly from the attention she was needing from her dad. This is why she was acting out, not because she was quote unquote naughty. She just needed to be heard and to be seen. So it was good to see Lacey's character, Isabel, recognize that and fight for her to come off the naughty list, which, like includes a bunch of hoops that wasn't helpful at all. And like ridiculous how the company, not Santa, the company had made it difficult for a child to get off that naughty list.
Agreed. I love the idea that every child matters and that looking at the whole situation before passing judgment is super important. That age-old saying, walk a mile in someone else's shoes. And it took her having to go through this a little deeper for her to recognize that in that character that she was playing, which I think was good.
Which is a little Fred Claus like, where, like every kid is, you know what I mean? Like every kid
Yep.
deserves a present at Christmas. I liked that. Of course, there's always the slapstick part that was very cute, like the cookie and coffee van that was all sparkles and dressed up for Christmas. That was supposed to be
Inconspicuous.
inconspicuous. Of course, she's like hiding in this thing where kids are coming up, hello. And I love that her assistant was such a good friend to her and really had her back. And it wasn't just like a work thing. She was the voice of reason, honestly, when Isabel got all caught up in her feelings with Charlie's dad.
Agreed. The guy in charge of Naughty and Nice was very naughty. He even gave terrible advice to his own grandma.
Yeah.
However, it was really funny when he learned at the end of that phone call, with all the negative things he said, that it was his grandma that he was talking to. So that was a good little humor slapstick.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay, he'd say that even to his grandma. Clocked that. Interesting. I love that I enjoyed that they made getting coal for being naughty just like an accepted fact. We like talk about it's in the
Yep.
song, it's joking, but like, no, this is what you're gonna get. Those naughty kids could expect a actual piece of coal. So they like totally bought into the bit. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
sure that if that were the case, that actually happened, there would be a lot of parents who were, buying other gifts to fix that. They're not going to want their kid to wake up and, well, I think most would not want them to wake up and actually find coal. Um, but it's definitely hard to know what's going on in these kids' lives, but just watching them for the few moments that she was tasked to do that. And it's like Isabel said, the kids don't need observation, they needed understanding.
That's a powerful statement.
Mhm.
100%. I do think that the blending in with a million costumes, it did allow for a little humor in the movie. It was a
Yeah,
good concept. And like you said earlier, it was great how they explained the rules that she had to follow. But when you're blending in from afar, you aren't getting the understanding, like you said.
exactly. Meeting Santa at the end and seeing her fulfilled wish book, that was awesome. Like that,
Yeah.
I 100% cried at that moment. I loved it so much. Plus, his Santa magic was amazing. So he had like his own magic, right? And the
Yep.
makeup gifts at the end for the naughty adults. Quote unquote. That was really sweet. I'm glad that everybody, it wasn't just like, of course, they dealt with the naughty, quote unquote, kids, everybody got a present, but then they went that one step further for the naughty adults too, that were, classified that as kids, and then it might have carried on through their adulthood. It affected them and made them think about things wrongly. And so as an adult, that kind of made up for that. And I really like that too.
Yeah, it was a good concept. I did think it was interesting that the young girl and her dad seemed to very easily agree with the fact that she was, yeah, clearly she's a helper for Santa. That makes perfect sense.
100%. Kids
Excuse
get
me.
coal. There's Santa's helpers. It's all real.
Yeah, so that was a bit strange that they accepted that so easy. But however, I'm glad she found her forever family to love and belong to in the end.
Movie number four, Single on the 25th, starring Lindsay Fonseca as Nell and Daniel Lissing as Cooper. Nell and Cooper are unattached neighbors who find themselves alone at Christmas. Instead of wallowing, they decide to make the best of the holiday season as single people and are determined to enjoy the holidays without friends or family, but maybe not entirely alone. They have each other after all. This movie earned 13 out of 20 sofas, and the categories are town holiday celebrations, Here Comes the Bride, Family and Friends, Christmas Magic, and the bonus for donations at the holiday party.
It's sad for anyone to be alone at Christmas. Now, let me qualify that, except for the person whose choice it is that they want to be alone. But for those that don't want to be alone, it is sad. But the one thing I really liked about this movie is that they talked a lot about, and she attended that wonderful group support group. So people don't
Hmm.
have to feel alone. And you can start to have your own side group like we had in the other movie with the cookbook, right?
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
other people with sharing the same views and the same things they're going through. So I liked that they did highlight that.
I did enjoy the moments with the support group. I thought that was great.
Mhm.
And I'm sure my fellow Hearties, aka one calls was it one calls a heart, we're thrilled to see Daniel Lissing, aka Jack from One Calls the Heart,
Yeah,
in a
he's such a
romantic
cutie.
Hallmark movie. Like I really hope it's a sign he'll be in more of these holiday movies or really anything because I really enjoyed him in that show. And, it's nice when they kind of call back and we get to see these other actors from other series and stuff in these movies because we're connected with them, but they kind of get that second life. Um, like you said, this is the second movie this season focusing on being single at Christmas, and I really think it's great they're showing options for someone who is unattached, to still have an amazing holiday season if that's what they
I
choose.
agree. It's always wonderful to be able to be with your friend, put your friends first so you can be your true self. Because if you have friends that you aren't being yourself, they're not really your friends because they don't know who you are, right? Same
Hmm.
with making a relationship, a love relationship, it'll be more long lasting. And the fact that they got to know each other on such an intimate level about, his crazy music he liked and dancing by
Hmm.
himself, eating lunch alone. And so she loved him for who he really was. And I think that was a really good moral for all of us to hear.
I do find they were like super awkward. Like if an awkward start to a relationship was a trope, this would definitely get like 10 so fast because it was super awkward at the beginning. But I guess that's the whole concept. Like it's awkward, the whole thing is awkward, so it kind of fit. Like how she got in the carriage, super romantic, beautiful, but also pretty awkward to do on your own, especially when he's like walking beside her.
Walk with you, you don't ask him to come in the thing. Yeah, I know. It was strange. They made a great looking couple, though. Let me tell
Yeah.
you. And his parents were the sweetest ever. Oh my goodness, I would love that so much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his parents being a part of it too. I think that was great, great to see that dynamic there. But honestly, like, let's face it, for two people trying to be alone, quote unquote, for Christmas, they spend pretty much all of their time together.
No, I agree. They were never apart. They were either communicating or together. However, it is sad when you have to hide who you really are just to blend in, which the he was doing at work, the guy sitting beside him was doing at work, and that young lady at the end at the bar at the Christmas party as well was doing that because she didn't know anyone, she was new. So when you got to
Yeah.
blend in with your surroundings and the fact that he took his childhood trauma of being alone as an opportunity to help someone else was kind of cool. Like he turned it around. He made lemonade out of lemons. So that was
Yeah,
cool.
for sure. Uh, when they were feeling more like a couple, I wish they had just acknowledged that in the movie,
Mm.
though. Like now we feel like a couple. It seemed like they were just kind of ignoring their feelings just to prove it was okay to be single, which it is, of course. But I think it would have been nice to see them earlier acknowledge that they were having feelings and kind of explore that as well.
I agree with you. I was so grateful that he finally realized he really didn't want to be alone either, because she was very clear she wanted true love. So
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And the fortune cookie gift at the end, that was really sweet and thoughtful. I like when they show these kind of unique things out of the box thinking. And I think it actually was better than the ring, which she could buy herself and did,
yep.
because I think it meant more. It was about that special moment earlier on, and it connected that kind of moment in their quote unquote burgeoning relationship with where they had gotten to at that point, where they're actually acknowledging their feelings for each other. Okay, let's talk about our drink for this week, the winter berry mocktail. It's 1 cup of cranberry juice, half cup of raspberry puree, quarter cup pomegranate juice, 1 tablespoon honey or agave syrup, half cup sparkling water over ice with fresh mint leaves to garnish. So this drink was strange for me. Like it was elegant looking, but it was a very strange combo of ingredients for me that in the end I didn't find amounted to any significant flavor. I think maybe sometimes simpler is just better.
I agree. It looked very pretty, but it was not my cup of tea at all. However, if you'd like to try the winterberry mocktail or any of the drinks on our episodes, you can find the recipe on our social posts for each show.
Well, fellow crown heads, we've come to the end of today's chat.
You can find all our episodes on your favorite podcast network.
And on our website, sistersipandchat.ca. Subscribe and never miss a chat session.
Thanks for listening. Join us next time.
And we'll save you a seat on the sofa.